these tighten up real quick before we start. It's gonna be a fast one. Just testing out some things. Yeah, wait till you see this interface on different flex. Trying to kill the old post I had from a long time ago. Alright, here we go. Let me turn this mess on. Bam! Alright, here we go. What do you mean? Alright, best topic. Check it out. Alright, I just wanted to do something really quick, really dirty. First of all, I know Ryan's going to say something smart about that. I got both Ryans in the house tonight. Number one, Mr. Edit, thank you so much for stopping by. Mr. Hugh, love you too, miss you too. Check it out. So, I left the box on the floor. Give me 1 second. I have, my sort of higher end interface that I use all the time, but a common question that's coming up as I'm doing all of these, like helping folks get their live stream together, is what's a good interface? And strangely enough, a lot of the good ones, your Sapphires, your ProSonus, and a lot of these guys, they're just straight sold out, right? Like absolutely sold out. So what's really cool is this came out in NAMM, and I was waiting for this to drop, and it finally dropped. So I wanted to come by and do a quick and dirty live real quick. And hey, what's up, Mr. Truck and Company? How you doing? I wanted to do a quick and dirty live real quick just to show you fast. But what I will do is I will do a full deep dive and get into the heavy particulars. But I just wanted to show you what it is, because now that this is brand new and it just started shipping, you might be able to get one of these before everything else sells out. Okay? All right, so here we go. This is the EVO 4 by Audient. Now, the audio people kind of know who Audient is. They had a famous interface back in the day called the ID4 and the ID44. And those were fantastic. The ID4 was like $200. It was pretty incredible device for its age. Came out, I want to say, roughly about 4 or 5 years ago. And the ID44 was just, more interconnects or interfaces or input output, so to speak. This guy is 2 input, 2 output, but it has one of the dopest features I think ever invented in interfaces, especially for newbies. As I listen to people's streams, their podcasts, and all of the above, all of the above, to me, one of the sort of craziest things that happens. Okay, I gotta tell my computer to shut up and not make that noise. Be quiet, Facebook. Um, One of the craziest things that happens is when your levels are set wrong, it can just screw up everything. And that's probably one of the hardest things for people to do. Even this brand new out of the box, I just set it up, but I didn't quite set the levels. And as I was pre-gaming the show, DJ Edit, aka Ryan over here, he said, check this out. He said, your music is louder than the mic, and you couldn't really make out what he was saying. Hold on. This orange is going to drive me batty. It's my favorite color, but not there. So let me fix that real quick. Bam! Okay, that's much better. Okay, sorry. Just, ain't no retentive. I'm a Virgo. What do you want? Make it stop. So basically, what this guy will do is it has something known as SmartGain. So let me do this real quick. Mm-hmm. Now, this is the EVO 4, and what you're looking at right now is a tiny little bitty box. It's, according to this mat, 13, let's say 14 centimeters by 5 centimeters. Okay, 14 by 6 centimeters. I'm not going to translate that into English real quick. So, what's really cool about this guy, you have your two XLR inputs in the back right here. And right now I'm connected to XLR1, and then you have XLR2. What's really good about these is these are Amphenol connectors. So you have the standard XLR input, but you also have a 1/4-inch input. So if you needed to connect a piano, guitar, or something like that, you could come through here. But there's also a dedicated DI or direct input right here in the front. Okay, so when you use the direct input in the front like such, it will also use this special feature, which is in the green button, which I'm going to show you in just a second. What you may see right now is you have an LED indicator of my levels. So this being -50, this being -0. Right now we're hitting about -12 if you count the dots and do the math, which is where you should be for recording. You want to kind of be somewhere between, say, like 18 and 9, so you're not too hot. And if you're doing that, then that's basically the right input. That's the right level that you're trying to do. Okay, so uh, can you, according to Edit, you can't hear me. Can you hear me? Edit, you should be able to hear me. According to this meter and that meter, you should be able to hear me. Anyway, so bumping Edit's question, I was going to get into the next question. Here's one of the things I actually love about this guy. It might be hard to see because of the lighting here, but that LED is slightly red. Can you see that on that camera? Hold on. Let's do one of these. Can you see it on that camera? Focus, Daniel-san. Back up. This LED right here is slightly red. That means that my phantom power is going on. So, what happens with that phantom power being like such? Let me pop this back over here, and then pop this back over here, and go like that. All right, cool. So, in order to turn on the phantom power, I won't turn off 1 because 1 will make me go silent. If I press mic 2 and then press 48, it's on. Then now my second one is working as well. So if I'm on level 1, then level 1 is also on. So I have the option to have both on or turn this one off. And so now I have both working. The other thing that's really cool about this, hello, make sure that's working. Okay, it looks like it's working according to the thing over there. The other thing that's really cool about this setup is, yeah, I could have said yes, but that was one of the neat features. I'm gonna put you on blast. Yes, Mr. Edit, I could have just said yes, but one of the reasons why I wanted to show you the double feature is because most interfaces at this price range do not separate the 48-volt phantom power. Most of them make you force the phantom power on both channels when you only want to use one channel. And that can kind of be a big deal. If you have both channels going on and you maybe have a device where you don't want to do it, it kind of helps it that you won't accidentally blow a mic. Now, in the many years of doing this stuff, I've never seen a mic get blown when the 48 power is on when it didn't need it. But a lot of OG audio guys would tell you that it happens. I'm not sure why everyone thinks that, but I've never seen it, but I have heard of it happening. So we'll just trust that they know what they're talking about. Okay, going back to the interface. On the interface too, here is the key feature. Here's the best part of this guy. If I'm on channel 1, I'm going to go quiet for a second, but what's going to happen, I'm going to press this button. This is known as SmartGain. And then I'm going to pick the channel that I want to adjust the gain, and then I'm going to pick the button again. The audio went dumb for a second because I'm using the interface. Let me fix this because I know that the built-in microphone probably sounds like complete butt. But let me use this to fix it and you'll see what I mean. So I'm going to press SmartGain. I'm going to press 1 and press SmartGain again. And then I will talk continuously for about 10 seconds. And it's going to automatically select the correct gain as necessary. And then it will be set the way it should be. So if you're singing, you want to sing the high part, the little John part. If you're just talking, you just continuously talk, and it only takes about 10 to 15 seconds. And as it selects your proper level, it will automatically be set. So now my mic 1 gain is automatically set. So I should be able to turn back over to my interface, and it's saying that it didn't catch that because maybe I'm too close to the mic, but let it continue to do its little trick. I know that this audio sounds really good, but that mic over there on the iMac is absolutely horrible. So let me get this rejiggered. Okay, it should be good now. Turn off this channel 2 real quick because I don't need it. Turn on channel 1. Actually, I might have broke it. Let me disconnect it and come back. All right, it's rebooted. I got my channel 1, got my 48 volt on channel 1, and it should be good. There we go. I'm going to come back to the EVO. All right, now we should be at the EVO. Let me back this audio down, and we should be properly set. So the cool thing about the SmartGain feature is it will make this a lot easier for, people who don't necessarily know how to read VU meters get their stuff together. Okay? No, it's you probably shouldn't do that while you're live streaming, but if you normally do it when it's not connected, it shouldn't jump back over to, the other way. So there's that. Anyway, besides the SmartGain, one of the other cool features this has is this one adjusts your headphones. So right now, this is listening to the computer. If I press that and come over here, then I can monitor myself. And one of the cool thing about the direct monitoring is a lot of your DAWs or digital audio workstations or other applications can introduce a latency. And the latency is where the sound is coming out, going to the computer, coming back to the device, and it's slightly separated. So you have a weird thing where your voice is delayed. Well, if you press this button and switch it all the way over here to this side, you're hearing yourself live. You're not going through the interface. If you press this way, then you're hearing what's going on in the computer, which would be like your Skype guest or, any music or something you play. If you put it in the middle, you can build a mix. So it's a headphone mix, almost like a mix minus, which is something that we do an awful lot, in the sort of broadcast industries type thing. Now, this button allows me to select my computer volume. So that's controlling my my max sort of internal volume. So one more thing it does, which I also think is absolutely incredible. If I hold this down, it allows me to do a little stereo separation in my headphones. Okay, and you might be able to see the buttons sort of disappearing. And if you put it right there, you have a perfect stereo separation, which is also pretty good because, you might not necessarily want to hear just the mono sound. So the advantage of hearing the stereo separation is if you have guests, you can put one guest on each side to make things a little bit easier to see. Okay, so that was EVO 4 in a nutshell. For the size of this thing and the price of this thing as an entry-level audio device is pretty awesome. I didn't get into the outputs here. You can basically plug these directly to another integrated mixer or, powered speakers, something like the Rockers, which is kind of incredible. Here, focus A6400. I could tap it, but there. All right, kinda. It's locked on my face. Let me press that. That's what's cool. Now you can see the interface here. So these are your outputs. So like I said, 2 ins and 2 outs. Okay, so you got 2 XLR or 1/4-inch inputs, 2 1/4-inch outputs. The USB-C cord is actually USB 2. Don't get it twisted. That can be confusing for people. But for audio interfaces, you don't necessarily need it to be USB 3. The amount of speed is not quite that important. It's sort of better that you're doing like this. Okay. And again, your one giant knob is cool because it controls everything from your level or to your headphones. So if I come over here, I can turn down my level, which is bad for you guys, and turn it back up. And you have the SmartGain situation, which I think is really cool in order to set your levels on the fly. Build quality is pretty good. It's plastic, it's not metal, but hey, it's $125. What do you want? I think it's a pretty incredible device. I think it's something that a lot of people, especially guys that are sort of new, can get into and get the hang of it. And then now for the killer feature. Again, especially for the newbies, especially for the guys who don't really understand audio interfaces or even something like Livestream application like Ecamm Live. In our group forum, the Ecamm community, one of the things that is pretty impressive about this guy is it has built-in loopback. Now, what loopback means is if I am showing you something, say from the computer, and I want the audio from the computer to play through this device, and I need to hear it, and I want you guys to hear it, that is pretty incredible. Okay, let's see what Mr. Ryan had to say. He said, good price point for the features if folks are getting into the podcast game. Yeah, I think so. I just decided something, sidetrack note, in using Restream, what's dumb about Restream comments is I get to just see a F in the red. And normally when we do it, I can see your icon so I know who I'm talking to. But yeah, the built-in loopback is a major feature. I normally use loopback application from Rogue Amoeba, but it's really handy, especially for the guys in the podcast game that are using soundboard. So Rogue Amoeba, again, makes an app called Fargo. And with Fargo, I can actually put sounds on my Stream Deck and then tap right into the Stream Deck, Scott, I'm going to answer your question. I have a question that came in over here, and because he's watching it in the watch party, it doesn't show up in the Restream feed. It's kind of buggy system, but it works. Scott says, how do I like the Stream Deck? Is there enough buttons or do we need a bigger one? I wish I had a bigger one. That just did not sound good. Actually, I wish I had the XL, but when I bought this guy, the XL didn't exist. For those of you who are Clinton Smarks unfamiliar, let me do this. This thingy over here is my Stream Deck, and what my Stream Deck allows me to do is to sort of go back and forth between scenes. So I could jump over to this scene and then jump back to this scene, sort of built in. I can change cameras on the fly. things like that. I can tell right now that there's 11 of you watching. So this guy has 16 buttons. What Scott's talking about is what's known as the XL, and the XL has, I believe, 32 buttons, right? And then so with the bigger one, it would be better because as it stands here, you can create sort of embedded pages, and what those embedded pages will allow you to do is stack, buttons on top of buttons, but that can get real confusing in the stream when you're paying to comments in one way, comments in another way, comments in another way. I wish when I got this guy that the XL was out. I probably would have bought the XL. But hold on, Scott, I got a bonus for you. They did come out with Stream Deck Mobile, right? So the Stream Deck Mobile allows you to use your iPhone and Android device as a Stream Deck extension. So you set your profiles up with this guy, and it might even work standalone. I haven't had a chance to play with that because I have, this actual one. So I never had a chance to see if the standalone one works. But in theory, you could just take an iPad with the gigantic buttons that you could set up on an iPad or a 12-inch Galaxy tablet, and then use your iPhone as the button triggers, right? So I'm trying to see on the website real quick if they had any info on it. But if you go to Elgato or just look for Stream Deck inside your, what is your application thingy called? The App Store or the Google Play Store? Sorry, it's whiskey o'clock in Hawaii. You would be able to then use your phone to do all of this stuff. So maybe you could, thank you, Mr. Edit. Boom, he found it. I don't know why he keeps giving me these sad faces, because as I'm looking on the website, I don't see the button, but but as I see it here, I see the button. Unfortunately, I can't click it, but let me get over here. Let's do that and then do one of these. Boom. Okay. Sorry, Mr. Edit. Let's move your comment out the way. And no, I don't want you to see that screen. Blah. I want you to see this one. Bam. Go. There you go. Stream Deck Mobile. Okay. So yes, with Stream Deck Mobile, you can stick it right in your iPhone or your Android phone, and you have the same look. If you have profiles already set up, those profiles come over instantly. And I believe you can make profiles that only go on the phone that doesn't, you can make profiles that go only on the phone that don't show up on the actual deck. So you don't have, a duplication of buttons. So you have the option of either duplicating the buttons or keeping them separate. That was a little bit of a twist tonguer. All right, that's enough of that. Yeah, but Stream Deck is probably, when it comes to doing this stuff, especially if you're by yourself or, you have like a 2-person team, absolutely handy, absolutely worth it. I know there's a lot of guys out there that say, oh, you can just make your own by adding another keyboard and mapping everything to that. Man, do you know how much work that is? Sometimes you just buy the equipment and shut up. That's my advice. Buy the equipment and shut up. Let me check real quick. Okay, cool. So, right now, that looks about it. I like the physical buttons in the app. Hold on, let me read that. I like the physical buttons over the app in the live subscription base. My junk, I was going to call you out. I like the physical controller better. The one thing that's cool about the mobile setup, let me do this in my head real quick. I think it was like $2.99 a month or $29 for the year, something like that. I think that's what they're going for. Yeah, I would rather them just charge me a flat fee in the thing. I know who you are, Ding. I would rather them charge me a flat fee in the setup versus making me do the monthly thing, because the apps that do that are irritating. when on my Apple Card I keep seeing $1, $2, $3, $5, and then I got to go back and try to calculate who it belongs to. That's a little irritating. I think what they're trying to do is make it look affordable right now during the unmentionable time. So maybe that's their way of just onboarding a lot of customers. I don't know, like when it was just Elgato, everything was fine. I've been using Elgato since there was a device known as H.264 Turbo. Actually, you plugged it into the back of your computer. It looks exactly like a cam link. I have one more floating over here. It looks exactly like a cam link, and you would plug that guy in the back. And what it would do is whenever you were encoding videos, right? You were back in the day when you were posting stuff to YouTube, your encoding would take forever. So you plug in the Turbo H.264 and it would encode your video at lightning speed. I mean, it literally take 2-3 minutes to encode a video. And I wish they would bring that thing back, because even now, Final Cut, Premiere, whatever, they could take forever to encode a video. I know a lot of people are out buying cam links, and then they say, well, why would you buy the HD 60 Plus over the standard cam link? Because the HD 60 Plus has that built-in encoder, which means when we're doing streams like this, your computer don't sweat the encoding. That thing is actually doing the encoding. It saves on your computer, especially if you have an older computer and you're trying to stream 2 places like myself. Hey, I see my boy Roger's in the building. How you doing, Raj? It's good Lord. It's probably like 1 o'clock in the morning where you at. Anyway, so that's why, when Elgato was by themselves, Elgato had everything on deck. Corsair bought them out, and what happens a lot in tech nowadays is these big companies buy out the smaller companies, and then they start messing with stuff instead of leaving good enough alone as it was, because it was perfectly fine. So hopefully they get their act together, because they kind of screwed up right now. You can't get one of those devices. They're crazy, 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 crazy expensive. Yeah, and Ryan brings up a good point. Offloading the encoding is incredible. Yes, it is. I recommend anyone that has a slower device, say a Core i5 processor, absolutely make sure you buy the encoder that has, buy the HDMI capture that has the built-in encoder. It will change your game. Your computer would not make so much noise. Your fans won't run, any of that. So anyway, today this was just a quick hit to show off the EVO 4. My full review will come in, but the quick and dirty review, I'm going to give it like a 4.5 out of 5. The only thing stopping me from giving it a solid 5 is I would love them to just make the box metal. Even if it costs the extra 20 to 30 bucks, I would have made it metal, because it's nice, it's portable, you can carry it. I forgot to mention it does work as an iPad or iOS, but when you use the camera connector kit, you have to add the power. If you don't add the power, it's not enough juice. Maybe put the real USB instead of this kind of pseudo USB. You know what I mean? Other than that, I think it's a wonderful device, especially for beginners. It's not going to handle drops, it's not going to handle falls, but the loopback feature alone is clutch. I swear, English is not my second language. It's probably my fourth, but still, I should be able to say clutch. I blame my saying crutch on my Korean parents. Anyway, if you haven't already, make sure you jump over to the page and subscribe rate. Okay, press the button, doc. Here we go. There's the link. Make sure you subscribe rate to the page. Hit the little belly thing, like punch that bell right in the face. Every time I do a live, you'll get a notification. You'll know, and we'll talk about it. The current and future plans for the next little bit while we're in quarantine, since Roger insists that I say that we're in quarantine, even though he just got let out, I think, a little bit. the goal is going to be, I'm going to do a lot more sort of discussing how to get your stream better. Not from a urology standpoint, from a streaming standpoint. Like, I'm going to talk about camera stuff. I'm going to talk about lighting stuff. I'm going to talk about audio stuff, little programs that could help, trying to restream, because it is nice to go to both platforms, but it's also somewhat of a headache, especially when avatars are messed up. Luckily, most of the cats watching are close friends of mine, so I know who they are. But yeah, even something as dumb as I set up the watch party and I get comments on the watch party that I can't even bring over here. So you guys think I'm talking to myself when I'm talking to my buddy Scott over there. You know, so as we map these things out, if you're following the channel, we're going to get more into help. You know, so if you have something going on with your stream and you're not quite sure, send me a message and I'll talk about it. I'm going to do a lot more. Like, this one is going to be a camera talk. We're going to talk audio this time, or, you know, we're going to talk setting up social media, setting your posts, and stop doing what I do and just press the button and go. Start scheduling these, so when they're scheduled, then more people, you know, can see, and we can kind of build that track record. And today I did something crazy. I'm starting a whole new brand on this live streaming stuff. The site is in like kind of beta right now, so don't trip. But I bought the domain Livestream Doc because I'm a doctor and I can fix your streams. Isn't that really cool? Livestream Doc. Get it? And I had a funny comment. Oh, I know. Solving problems and saving lives. Get it? Sorry for the Eddie Murphy reference. Anyway, Mr. Brady, my junks, thank you so much for checking in. Raj, love you, brother. I wish you could make it home soon sometime, or we'll come that way, come and bother you. Thank you for coming and checking in. My buddy Scott over in the Ecamm group, and Wedge, thank you guys for watching. I hope, you know, anybody that watches this after the fact, if you have any questions about the EVO 4, just drop me in the comments and I'll get at you as soon as I can. Also, if you subscribe, then you'll see the full video whenever it comes out. And I'll try and get to that sooner or later. But I think I'm going to keep this guy, if nothing else, for a portable device doing mobile DJ gigs. It might be kind of cool. Maybe start streaming some of those guys too. Anyway, I'm going home and cook dinner. God, go home, cook rice. Thank you guys. Love you. See you around soon. Aribi Goat Cheese. Let me play put the subscribe thingy one more time and play some outro music. Here we go. They need a fade to black button.